option available, but I think IG should slam the Jace.
Well, they don't exactly have to right now, right? They got time. They can save that for their third pick if they want to go and pick up a couple of other ones. You know, Nico is going to be a pretty contested pick. I imagine one of these teams are going to select it. Both Jwei and Vampire did a lot of work on them. I'm curious to see what kind of priority we see on these top laners with Rumble already gone. These guys are Rumble, Renekton, like 2 tricks. They do obviously have another suite of champions, but that's what they're best on. We already see this Nico going over to IG.
I'm worried that if IG don't pick the Jace, that JDG can take it in a lane that is, in a role that isn't jungle. I'm not sure if Xiaoxu or HongQ can play the Jace, but it's going to be the other answer into the Malphite, the Mundo. Now, the reason that this is a good answer is that the Mundo spell shield can't be broken until Malphite ults, and then obviously he can't get knocked up by it. So Malphite not building damage means Mundo doesn't really care about the Malphite ult. You can draft around the Mundo to give yourself a little bit more CC, so that you can break the spell shield easier and then have the Malphite ult on top. Yunara, one of the most premier ADCs at the moment, paired up with this Lulu. Whether or not you prefer her with an Enchanter support or an Engage support, I think you kind of need the Lulu against something like a Nico, otherwise the lane is just too difficult.
So now it's time for IG's third pick here. Obviously have a couple of options. I want to see them pick a Sivir here to help get this Mundo and this Nico into these fights, giving them that extra movement speed to kind of operate, maybe get some easier pop blossoms. But it looks like the Kai'Sa is going to be the move here. We're going to need to see some extra dive tools come through in these next 2 picks for IG.
Kai'Sa Nico has been a bit of a staple for the 2025 season, so it's not surprising to see it here, I guess. But into the Malphite, it is risky. Yes, you have mobility. It is tough, and it's going to be a tough matchup against the Yunara. I think for the most part, Yunara will win that until like Kai'Sa gets full build or close to full build. 3, you know, the 3 ability upgrades. But I'm really surprised that Jace has been left. No bans, no picks. This could be a scrim thing. Both these teams not prioritizing the Jace at all. I don't mind that if JDG's focus, both teams' focus is have a supportive jungler with their star mid laner that we were highlighting before. I think that taking the Jace in the jungle might devalue that synergy just a little bit and maybe force your mid laners to go something like Galio or a roaming mid like an Ahri. We did see the Orianna, I believe it was, so more poke, but no Jace so far, and I assume that because both junglers been locked in that we're not going to see any crazy mid Jace. I don't think it works well with either of these picks or these team comps, so team fighting mids. Azir is still up. HongQ's or one of HongQ's best champions will not go banned. If Rookie wants to take it away here and JDG don't ban it, it might be a really good look. It's got more CC to pair with the Kai'Sa. Some element of a dive, but a lot of damage to get through this Malphite front line.
One of my concerns, if Rookie decides to take this Azir, he was pretty average on it last year. It wasn't really great. So you are handicapping yourself a little bit there. I like this Ahri ban. He's got a legendary Ahri. Take it off the board, because that's one way to get Mundo going, is to, you know, have a mid laner with a lot of CC to try and set him up, make sure that he's able to get his licks in on a particular target. We see the Syndra hover here. I think it makes a lot of sense too, to try to do what you can to keep Malphite at bay before he can use that unstoppable force, but also just making it really difficult for a Lulu to play out the game, and that is going to be the lock-in for Rookie.
I've actually got the stat here written down on my notes for Rookie's win rate on Azir. So in 2025, it was 50%. Oh, sorry, all time it was 50%. 2025 was 42% win rate on Azir. That's not something you really feel confident about if you're going to pick it in a game like this. So leaving it up, it is risky. I mean, you're giving it over to HongQ if you want it to. Maybe even taking it away from HongQ just in a series is a good idea, but it's going to be the Renekton paired as well. So we do want some form of later on damage, and there it is. It's probably going to be locked in. I know it's only a hover, but I don't really see a reason why you wouldn't. It's not the worst lane. Yes, you can get pushed away if you go for if you look for a road, I'll say, but the late game damage onto Mundo, the range against Kai'Sa and Mundo, I think it's got a fine lane against Syndra. I think this is a really good pick from HongQ. Obviously, we know how good he is on it, but maybe a misread from IG. they're either confident they can deal with it or they weren't prepared for HongQ to go it in this game.
And it looks like the lock-in for Soboro is going to be this Cassante with a lot of his best options gone. It was a question on whether or not that he was going to go for a super tank or maybe something that can get the job done. JPedo, I think IG has a really hard time getting to HongQ, getting to Gala. This is going to be a big problem for their comp.
Yeah, they've got a ton of range with the Azir, decent range with Yunara. It outranges the Kai'Sa, the Nico, the Cassante, the Mundo. They've got an Enchanter, right? Not only with both Yunara and Azir, but Enchanter and Renekton doesn't feel too bad either, right? You've got like one of the best setup junglers in the game at the moment. We've gone away from things like Sejuani into this Malphite now. It's a bit of a tough matchup into Mundo, sure, but you've got Renekton strong side top, should be pushing in for a while until Cassante gets... I think he needs Iceborne and Bramblevest to really do anything in that lane, but IG, they've got some good team fights, right? The Mundo, the Kai'Sa late game, if they can get there and find their fights, I can see the angle, but I mean, Tabe draft, baby, it's looking good.
Yep, trust your carries to get the job done, and the Malphite ultimates on a couple of targets will be just fine, and your carries will be able to take care of Mundo and Cassante. For the other side in IG, I think they need to really leverage the strength of Rookie on this Syndra and Jwei with pick potential, going and taking out some of these members in transition, because outside of Malphite, they're really not that tanky.
Ready? I'm jumping in here, get to hear my first ever gyos. Let's go. Good to be here. Good to hear the crowd.
Yep. It's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty, HongQ, as you can see everybody being good sports about it as we're on Summoner's Drift for Game 1 of this best of 3 series between IG and JDG. Already, you know, a couple of wards going down, just making sure you know what's going on here with the JunJia. And I think the move is just to make sure that he can hit level 6 and start making his impact now.
I think we're going to see a pretty slow early game. Maybe outside of top, there might be some brawling, but I mean, it's a Cassante. There is vulnerability in the bot lane with the no tanks double range, as barrier will be used by Gala to help himself with some of that HP trade. Pot's already ticking for both ADCs, but outside of maybe bot lane scuffle, you're looking at scaling mids, right? The Azir and the Syndra both want to scale. Syndra especially because of the splinters. You're looking at Mundo Malphite. Mundo, a champion that needs items. Malphite, a champion alongside Mundo that really needs ult. And both AD carries kind of happy. Heal gets expended.
Yeah, Photic's barrier going to go by the wayside as well, but winning that health trade against Gala right now is so important, especially when you can get the kind of poke that Jwei can get down. Anything that you can do to whittle him down is good. And again, as you said, there was going to be some brawling in the top lane, but we think it's mostly just to boost their damage stats.
Yeah, average top laner, you know. It's never real damage. If you see a top laner with like 40,000 damage, it's fake. They're just fighting to the death up top. But...
Oh my goodness! What a move there! He just saw the angle, Vampire!
That's what you want to see starting out for this game. It is flash expended on both sides, which does favor Jwei. If you can get the pop blossom up before that flash comes in, it is more beneficial for the Nico and the first bloods on your Lulu, but it's kind of like a bit of an aura moment there. Thank you. Not having the best time in the start of this lane. Got to be careful.
In a little bit of trouble here. Rookie is going to take 2 turret shots for his troubles. That was a little spicy. This does allow Wei to get in there and try and wrestle for control of this river, but JunJia is a little bit healthier. And we will see the big meatballs smack each other a little bit and then go their separate ways.
Hell yeah. It's gonna make me hungry, man. Meatballs? Where's the spaghetti? Who's the spaghetti in this team if both the junglers are meatballs? Is it the carries? They supplement the meatballs, surely.
The carries have to be the spaghetti, right? Because spaghetti is not exactly what I call super sturdy, and these guys are pretty squishy.
Yeah, well, okay. Then if support is the sauce, what are the top laners? Are they the utensils, or maybe that doesn't make any sense?
They have to be. They're your building blocks, right? Like, you know,
cheese.
Tell me that Cassante isn't a utensil, right? Like this
yeah,
guy.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah, he's a big building block, and speaking of building blocks, JDG and doing well to go and pick up 4 new members. And I want to shout out Vampire for getting that kill, because this is a guy who's done a lot of his best work on engaged supports, and we haven't really seen enchanters in his bag, and given the fact that it seems to be an enchanter based season, already a good start.
Yeah, a quick little lower third there by the official LPL broadcast. Good time to talk about the role quest, touch on it a little bit. One of the reasons why you're seeing not as much action and lane swapping is how important the role quests are. Not only, for top lane it's extra XP, for bot lane it's extra gold, for the supports it's, obviously the upgraded support item, but also the discounted control wards and the control ward slot. So for the most part, games are going to have a slower start, and not necessarily a slower start, but in like a locked-in lane start, because you really want to get the quest completed as fast as possible. It's, CS, plates, kills do matter outside of your lane as well, but this is Professional League of Legends. Not a ton of kills happen in the early game for the most part. I think, I can't remember who brought it up on the LPL cast the other day, but I completely forgot about it.
Oh wait, hold on. Rookie is going right after HongQ, using that unleashed power, getting a lot of this control away, showing up on the bottom side. This dragon is available, so IG may be looking to try to get some purchase down here. HongQ, Rookie's between the turrets right now, just forcing him away. It has been a struggle so far. HongQ on his Azir. Demacia Cup wasn't so great, and right now having a tough early game.
Yeah, one of the things that Azir struggles with a little bit in lane is range. So things like Orianna, Syndra, and in times the Xerath, recently picked up by Knight, the Ziggs, right? Those are kind of things that get played into Azir. The reason that the Azir is blind picked so often is because his side lane and his team fights are just so much better. The lane is the tough part. If HongQ can get past the laning phase, into team fights and onto a side lane, maybe even against a Cassante, he's loving life. So far, down 10 CS, 400 gold is not the best way to start this game, but level 6s have been hit.
Okay, HongQ coming through, trying to do what he can to Rookie and Wei, but he is all alone right now. JunJia flashing in, but not going to land his ultimate on anybody. They have to run for the hills. Meanwhile, Photic and Jwei have caught out Vampire, and that's a kill to Photic.
And it's no flash on Vampire from that earlier flash trade. I thought it would be maybe the Nico ult, but that wasn't quite up. JunJia gets 6 off of the Scuttle Crab. So HongQ, JunJia showing some of that synergy we were talking about before, back on the Malphite again. But crucially, trades Rookie's flash. Now, that is super important. You've got a mobile mid laner with that displacement ult. JunJia doesn't care that his flash is down. Syndra flash being down is super important. The dragon wasn't taken. Look at JunJia. So HongQ goes in, uses the shuffle. It looks a bit awkward, but JunJia's just, I have ult here, smites the Scuttle, goes in for the ult here, but just can't reach because of the flash from Rookie. Vampire was in rotation, but that flash timer was very, very close to coming back up. It's just unfortunate that he didn't quite have Gala with him. Maybe he would have been able to get out, but I really think that the flash pull from Rookie is really important here.
Yeah, Gala opting to stay down there and pick up the farm as he can, but right now IG looking pretty good in their 2 main carry roles in this game. We'll have to see how things develop, as Rookie has about a half a level on HongQ right now. That is going to be very relevant for whatever first objective either of these teams elect to fight at. Remember, early in the game, you get so much value out of these levels, about 500 gold worth of stats, so I imagine Rookie's going to try to make the most of it.
Dragon being started up by JDG. JunJia has ult back in about 2 seconds, and HongQ will be 5 after that. So IG really have no business contesting anything here, and they can't even find a cross map. Wei will be spotted on a ward. The dragon already gone.
Yep. All Rookie elected to do was just shove that mid wave in, so we'll see if Grubs are going to be the move for IG in response. JDG used a lot of their free time. Now, you're not going to get a ton of value out of the Grubs, but I think a takeaway from HongQ is very important.
Yeah, if this was top lane window, maybe you'd be a bit more worried. We're not going to see that these days. There is a world, where Wei is in a side lane, and with the with the Crystalline Overgrowth, the new addition in season. What are we? Is this 16 or 26? I'm not even sure what the name is, but
Yeah,
JunJia on a ward.
I'm calling it 16.
Has ult.
Yep, you get spotted out. Photic stepping up. Rookie is on his way to cover for his bot lane. See if they elect to turn here, and it looks like they will. Jwei flashing over the wall. Everybody going in to blow him up, but JunJia gets help from Vampire. Ults out, and Gala says, I will just take the fight myself. His barrier is down, so is Photic. Gala flashing over the wall, but he can't finish off Photic. Rookie scatters him away and picks up the kill, and he's looking for Vampire next, but doesn't have enough left in the tank.
The team synergy and mechanics on both of these teams now is on display there. Maybe Gala could have flashed in to chase Photic, sacrifice himself for the 1-for-1. He gets 2 kills there instead of just dying. But the insta-snap onto JunJia by IG is beautiful. That's the initial part here. He's on a ward. He doesn't know. Instantly onto JunJia. But the Lulu ult and then the disengage ult from JunJia. Gala, no fear, goes for it. Let's see. So my initial opinion was I think he should flash to chase Photic, but maybe he thinks that there's like one more audio. That auto would have killed. It's close. Can't blame Gala for that. Really well played from IG, but the fact that it's JDG getting 1 does sting a little bit.
And the one thing that I noticed about that fight, if HongQ was there, if this was a fight involving HongQ, JunJia, I think, would have went in. But I think he didn't quite have that level of trust with Gala quite yet. So JunJia elected to ult out. I think if he goes in there, I mean, we're talking about Gala getting 2, maybe even 3 kills.
It's an important part too. I mean, Rookie's got a gold lead now. He'd already started building up from the CS, but continuing to do so. Maybe if HongQ had been able to rotate down, get a kill, could have evened that up. But JunJia back again. There is still a ward here. He has ult, sure, but no summoner spells for Photic. Jwei will be around the corner. HongQ first on the roam this time.
Yeah, meanwhile, look up at the top lane, Soboro and Xiaoxu just going at each other. Again, it's just a lot of fake damage right now. And Soboro might be in a little bit of trouble. Instead, he'll be able to hop away and get that shield. Meanwhile, much ado about nothing in the bottom lane, aside from just trying to protect the wards that you have.
The meatballs and the spaghetti coming together to stir themselves into a bowl, but no one's eating it just of yet. I think that Jwei being there dissuades that play. Yes, nice. He has ult here.
He's got the ult out. The utensils are fighting. Xiaoxu is forced to flash away. Soboro unable to get it done. Burns his flash as well.
It's a good NT there, in my opinion. Hear a bit of noise from the crowd. Got excited about potentially that solo kill, but Soboro at least, you know, lives, trades flash for flash, ult for ult. Xiaoxu's will be up a little bit earlier as he used it earlier in the exchange, but in these teams, Yanni, something I'm really interested in following along is how potentially close group ascension is going to be. I mean, originally we thought, you know, okay, well, BLG AL, we just saw how close that was. That's going to be a really exciting rivalry to follow. This might turn into an interesting rivalry as well. You know, who's going to be third seed? JDG, Weibo, IG. It's probably not going to be Tess in the current iteration until maybe they either get Jackie Love back, but I would really like to see Tess show up without having to have that happen. So maybe if they can get some time to improve over the beginning of the year, maybe not looking at first stand, but as the year goes on, that would be really nice. But these top teams, I think it's super close. I mean, we just saw what happened. And now we're watching this game. Later on, we've got, what is it? It's AL, JDG, I think, tomorrow, and then BLG, JDG later on. These are some really exciting matches, and on paper, I really don't know who you favor.
Well, as of right now, I don't think IG is going to be getting that third spot, but a win today would do a lot to change that narrative. This Dragon is up. JDG already hovering around it. They're trying to cut off HongQ at the pass, and if I'm JDG, you can do whatever you want at this objective as long as you don't lose everybody. If you take the Dragon, it's great for your scaling. If you let it go, You can still spend that time scaling up into the game. HongQ already down to half HP as this Dragon's down to 2,000. Jwei has that level up right now. Smite secured there, but here's knockups coming through. HongQ in a little bit of trouble, but everybody's coming around to protect him. He gets all outed by Soboro. Vampire's got to flash away, and IG, a conglomerate, the knockup is there, and they're trying to cook. Rookie trying to get as many stuns down as he can. Jwei walking forward, but Gala is healthy, dashing forward. He wants the rest of IG dead as Rookie gets slowed up. Xiaoxu doesn't quite have the HP. He gets stunned. Will have to slice himself away. JDG taking the good end of that fight.
Yeah, it's not clean by either team, Yanni, but the crucial parts here is JDG got the Drake. That's important, right? It's Cloud Soul. That's really strong with Yunara, with Renekton, with Malphite, with Lulu. Very, very strong Soul. And Gala now up 1.6. Got to free cast that entire fight. The engage onto HongQ looked really nice, but it took him so long to die. He was super slippery. They traded onto Jwei after he went in. We'll take a look back here. So immediately the call from IG as Xiaoxu was walking down, the TP in early means that Soboro is here first, but the wild growth, the flash away, and HongQ gets pulled through the wall. It takes so long for him to die. Jwei's already died. That's everything. All ults have just been used onto HongQ there. And it takes a while. It's a little bit scuffed here with the Scout of the Week, but Xiaoxu provides so much space. Gala's full HP the entire time. Completely free casting, gets so much gold out of this fight. So JDG coming out on top.
Yeah, this is the problem that we talked about with this IG comp. You have to pick one. Are you going to kill HongQ or are you going to kill Gala? And we determined it was going to be difficult for them to really just get one. Now it looks like IG says, we are ready for another fight. This Rift Herald, though, is quite low. JunJia getting tagged. Jwei looking to walk up and smite steal this one away, and he will be able to do so. Malphite ult out. Teleport coming in for HongQ. You can't cancel that. And IG maybe do something, but they elect to back off instead. With Rookie not around, it'll cash in on that turret candy.
Nice little punch back here from IG. Get the turret gold and get the steal on the Herald as well. So JDG still maintaining pressure on the map, but IG finding a little bit of gold in some important pockets and an important objective. The Herald, in my opinion, is a lot more valuable this season because of how many more plates there is. So you can always get that extra gold from the tier 2. Split pushing in general, like getting the last hit on the tier 2 is not as important anymore, but Herald used in mid. There's no dragon, so this is just to force this.
Okay. We'll see what they're going to get off of this. Big chunks coming out, but that's about it. So IG just trading it for this early gold here, perhaps knowing that they don't want to go super late against this JDG team. While they do have fine scaling, JDG scales much harder with their 2 big carries.
Yeah, an option to potentially wait another 2 minutes, but we just touched on, right? The new Season 16 plates changes. If this was last year, the plates would have already been gone. Nice try there from Soboro, but HongQ spaces it quite well. Another addition to the new season as well, these upgraded boots in mid. Incredibly strong. Obviously, for the tenacity, we were going Merc Treads already, but the fact that you get the shield, it's really, really strong. The amount of damage you get to avoid with that. But it's only a 1,000 gold lead for JDG. So far, it's a lead in mid for IG, a lead in bot lane for Gala, who does have the experience in the ADC role. Gala been around for a while, but we were talking earlier about how much experience this IG team has just in Rookie. He's been around since, I think, 2013.
Yep.
Just after they started playing pro, just after Worlds 2013 ended. And is still playing to this day. There's a lot of players as well that, yeah, and still, you know what? Not doing too bad. I was talking.
I mean, he just went to Worlds last year.
Yeah. Well, I'm quoting Alk here. Hold on. Nice flash force. JunJia's around the corner.
Yeah. Rookie is not out of the woods. JunJia lying in wait, landing in the knockup down in HongQ. Just needs to get a little close. Oh, hold on. The unleashed power is there. This might be a trade. Rookie will die to the cheese wheel, but he trades out after a great scatter of the week on HongQ.
Yeah, exactly. Pushes HongQ away, and it will allow HongQ to get this full tower. That does feel really, really nice, but And look at this gold lead for mid. Even after this, it's going to go to 800. That's about where it was before. Yes, you're accelerating mid lane now, but Rookie out of position. Now it'll be traded here as well. IG getting the Drake. It's fine for JDG to give this. Maybe you could look for some more plates. Again, Season 16. Getting these plates here in top lane would be nice. Something that I'll go back to now is I'm sorry if I get this quote incorrect, Alk. Forgive me. But I believe he was talking to me about... oh, hold on.
Oh, you're fine. Keep going. Hold on. Wei is coming.
Wei's here.
You might not be fine. Xiaoxu slicing and dicing, but right into the waiting arms of Wei. Gets the heal. Flashes away. We'll be able to escape.
Yeah, about how this is really a proving year for Rookie. And he's been in the league for so long. Like, how could that be? Well, he's been on some average-esque teams, but has done okay. Last year, he was on an amazing team. Just the names, right? Mako, the Shy, asterisk next to that one maybe. But they
Gala.
couldn't quite... Yeah. Who he's, against in this game, but who the team kind of needed to do more. And nice shuffle here.
Yeah, Soboro. Okay, nice knock up into Flash, but HongQ will be able to chase him down and use those Sand Soldiers to poke him in the back and get a solo kill for himself and some turrets.
This is what I was talking about a bit earlier. The side lane of Azir against the Cassante, really, really nice. Out of that lane now, and because of that kill, look at the gold lead in mid. It's only 350 gold. JDG clawing their way through this game. Nothing has exploded just yet. Only 2 dragons to 1. Xiaoxu should be safe under this. Does have ult in 7 seconds.
Slicing and dicing, but getting chunked out big time below half HP. But here comes
JunJia.
the rest of JDG. JunJia getting spotted out, getting scattered as well. But there's no turret left. Vampire looking to cut them off with the pass with this Lulu. HongQ teleports in, and there is a knock-up not landing on the way because of that spell shield protection, and they're going to go all in on JunJia here. Photic wants to get kills. There's the Pop Blossom. HongQ's in trouble, and he goes down too. Another scared of the week, and Xiaoxu's got to run for the hills as IG will track him down. Baron in their sights. They've taken over this game.
It is a massive overstep from JDG. You think maybe they're going to go for Rookie. He's too far away. It's the slows from the Mundo briefcases keeping JDG out of this, and they engage on Wei finally. So look at these. Look at these briefcases. The scout of the week as well. They're just so slow. Another briefcase hits. JunJia can't get in. Vampire decides, fine, we're going on Wei. Polymorphs him, but it doesn't break the spell shield. Wei's able to ult and flash away. Now we've grossly overextended. Really nice snap from Photic onto JunJia. And, I mean, Nico's still pretty good in 2026, guys. What can I say?
And Gala, critically, wasn't able to get in that fight, the strongest member of JDG right now. And you said this about JDG after their first match. They are always willing to throw hands. They play fast, they play aggressive, and that aggressiveness bit them in the behind that time around. And now they lose out on that Baron, and now they're down almost 1,000 gold in a game that they were in a good spot. Now it's up to IG to drive this game forward. It's up to Rookie to set up these picks and take IG over the finish line.
That's why I'm going to be a JDG biased fan in the background here. I love how this team plays, but IG getting these tower plates now. This kind of siege when you don't fully kill the tower is much more valuable with this Baron in pocket, so... Wearing purple, nice ult.
Rookie up a little bit too far. He's got to flash away, but JunJia's on top of him, and so is HongQ. That Emperor's Divide doesn't quite land, but Rookie's a sitting duck. Jwei will fall after that Pop Blossom, and Wei's got to run. Popping that maximum dosage. A great defense by JDG.
JDG just throw hands, Yanni. Gala has flash and barrier.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to save
not
him,
enough.
but Photic has the killer instinct.
Look, maybe IG said, okay, let's throw hands too. We're going to scrap? Fine, let's scrap. We don't get the tier 2 tower or the plates. We'll access through the mid lane. Your ADC was so gracious enough to open that up for us. I want to highlight JunJia finding these angles constantly. HongQ, the synergy that we want to keep talking about in this series here. Great angle. HongQ chases as well. They find onto Rookie. He goes into the stopwatch, but where is the rest of my team here for IG? Photic is in transition. Soboro is near topside when IG are pushing up and melee hitting the tower, and then Gala gets caught in the mid lane as IG transition. Now, Baron's still available for another, 50 seconds here. The Dragon is spawned. If you're JDG, you can give this up. No flash on both Kai'Sa and Syndra. Watch for JunJia's ult.
All right, JDG said it's time to throw hands. JunJia looking to get close here, but it looks like that Dragon will go to IG. JDG will do nothing here. Gala once again walking in a very aggressive manner, but this time around we'll be able to actually escape his own jungle.
We've got a couple of ADCs in the world that are really good, that have a tendency of getting caught in really bad spots. I mean, we've got Jackie Love, got the ruler spot. Let's not make it like the Gala spot where it's like tier 2 mid tower and you just kind of walk in there for free. But IG have kind of stabilized this gold at about 2,000. It's 2 dragons apiece. And remember, both these teams do like scaling. There is a range advantage for JDG. The flash is still down, which is really important. The Kai'Sa flash being down means that even if another Baron potentially starts up, if there's a scrap, and these teams have been throwing hands a little bit, the Kai'Sa flash being down for so long, the Syndra flash being down for so long, and you take a look at your eyes over to that mid lane role. HongQ has his flash up now. Really, really crucial part of this. If you can find a road against the carries of IG, the spaghetti, maybe the meatballs and the spaghetti can come together and create a really nice dinner for JDG to pick up. Jwei takes a pretty decent chunk there in his health bar. Baron still a while away. So just posturing, fighting for vision control right now, Yanni.
Perhaps a dish that even Gordon Ramsay would love. We'll see what IG is able to do with this lead again. They still need to drive it forward a little bit. They were denied the first time around, but Gala getting caught, critically able to help them out. JunJia getting chunked out big time, but again, you're not actually getting too much value out of it, right? These waves that you're shoving in as IG are just being scooped up by JDG without any issues. That just means that JDG is allowed this time to scale up. HongQ and Gala are allowed this time to get big. Gala, heading toward that third item. HongQ going to be starting to work on item number 4. In a game that he has been not having a good time in the early game, so to speak, but has now picked up a few kills here and there and is in a much healthier spot 26 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on Nico throughout most of the early parts of the LPL. Nice.
All right, and you're going to force the ultimate out of Vampire, so he will survive, but we'll see if that comes to consequence without that wild growth in a little bit.
It is important. It has been keeping some of the members of JDG alive, but not sure if that is the trade that maybe IG were looking for. They wanted something a bit extra, but the good news for IG is that they've bid their time quite well. Flash from Syndra's back up. Photic's flash will be up pretty soon, so I would be really surprised if both teams fully centered at Baron. I think we're waiting for this next dragon. And something I'm trying to keep my eyes on is this Nico prior. I really think Nico is kind of unanswerable in draft. We've seen a lot of things. So Karma, Leona, and Nico just does everything. JDG posturing around, trying to fight for these camps as Jwei will secure the blue buff, but we've got 5 members here from both teams staring at each other, maybe wanting to throw some hands, but opting instead to walk away. Yeah, I'm not too sure if there is really anything into Nico. There are picks that do well. Like I said, Bard is fine, Karma's good, Leona can do well, but she just does everything, right? She's got great vision contest with the clone thing that hasn't been patched, even though that was supposed to get patched. She has one of the best laning phases in the entire game. She's got CC. She's got pretty good damage in the early game as well. Then she's got by far the best support team fighting ult. Great catch with these minion baits as well. This Nico champion just has everything, and I'm hoping JDG have an answer to it, but so far across the world, I'm not really sure.
And we did talk about how Jwei did some of his best work on this Nico pick. Speaking of doing your best work, Rookie with a scatter onto Xiaoxu. It's a big chunk out there, but Jwei, really one of the few exciting players on an FPX team that really wasn't so great. But it felt like when he was off Nico, he was missing something, and on Nico is really where he felt comfortable and at home. He's had a couple of okay ultimates this game, but he needs something more to really put IG in the driver's seat for good and put the game in an unwinnable position for JDG. You can see the pressure starting to come on here as JDG are forced out of this mid lane. IG can go mostly wherever they want to go. See what happens with both objectives now up. This would be the third dragon of the game for either side, 2 apiece.
Photic soloing it. I don't think JDG are aware of this at all. They might know because Photic's been off of vision for a while. They have the option. Oh, this is a really nice flank angle from JunJia. If he can get in, Gala moving forward.
Hey, yep, they're pushing IG back toward that dragon. They're falling back. Gala transcends himself, but isn't going to be able to get too much more. JunJia still lying in wait for the opportune moment to hit multiple members. Gala and dish out as much damage as he can. Way down to about half HP. Soboro chunked. Photic lost a little bit off that dragon. Xiaoxu and Wei, they're just going to get a big meatball fight here, but Xiaoxu realized he may have bit off more than he could chew. He's going to slice and dice away, gets tagged.
Take that.
And thinking about it, but looks like IG, Photic will temper himself there. IG will be very happy with the fact that they have picked up their 3rd straight dragon.
Yeah, JDG, even with the range advantage, they just have no business walking anywhere. They have no priority on the map at the moment. So Photic's able to solo the dragon. JDG barely fight for wave control. It's being kind of won over by just Rookie. So IG get 3 cloud dragons. They're very fast, and that 4th one is going to make them even faster. I was talking about, because of the dragon stacking at the start of the game, how good cloud sol is for JDG, but Kai'Sa, Mundo, Cassante, that is a really good cloud sol game for IG as they start to set up their control around the Baron. With a Kai'Sa, this Baron burns incredibly quickly.
We'll see what JDG can do. I'm looking for JunJia here to make his big play. We haven't really seen this Malphite be as effective as we've expected it to be. And he's going to go for a double knock-up. It's all, you know, Wei just popping that shield. Scatter the Weak is there, but Soboro is in trouble. Here comes the pop! Oh! It hits everyone, but it is not enough! Wei trying to do what he can. He's trying to sustain, but that maximum dosage is down. Gala going back in, Wei so low. There we go, he finishes him off. Manages to sneak that kill out. Here's Soboro from the side. They find Gala, and now you're looking for more. HongQ's in trouble. Emperor's Divide whiffs, and JDG's got to run for the hills. Soboro with a huge teleport to turn this fight.
The carries from IG are so on. Jwei hits a 5-man Pop Blossom, but it's the Scatter of the Weeks from Rookie. JDG cannot do anything. They can't chase. They might have the range advantage over most of the team from IG, but they don't over Rookie.
JunJia is going to find out big time that this is a problem. You can't get close. They got them off the Baron, though. Vampire getting stunned up. He's going to have to walk away. And with a teleport in from Xiaoxu, that does mean that IG is unable to do that objective with their jungler down. So JDG living to fight another day, but again, another rough fight for them not working out. Let's take a look at this replay, J Beto.
It looks pretty good for JDG. They start this front to back. They say, okay, we can't get to the back line. Let's all in the front line. We get the Spiel Shield off, we break it. Soboro goes so low. The Scatter of the Week, there's the first one. Then Jwei hits a 5-man Pop Blossom. Xiaoxu falls down. It still looks okay, but then look like, how does he continue to hit these? Rookie, the Unk against the New Blood. I'm telling you, man, this IG team needs Rookie. When he isn't on, this team looks really weak, but when he's on, this team looks really strong.
Couldn't agree more. A huge reason why they were able to win that fight. You know, it's just so difficult for them to get to HongQ, for them to get to Gala. We talked about that. Jwei setting it up, making that available. They were unable to capitalize, but with all of the Dark Spheres lying on the ground, Rookie was able to stem the advance of JDG. 50 seconds until this dragon is up. It is sole for IG. JDG has not sniffed a dragon since their second dragon take, and things are looking worse and worse. But again, they're still getting this time. Gala now has his full crit complete. That means those Fiend Hunter bolts are going to be hitting real hard against Soboro and Jwei.
Yeah, I think if Rookie doesn't hit that Scout of the Week as HongQ goes in the first time, that he probably shuffles Rookie. It might have been Baron. Close the game for JDG. Now, in a commanding spot, IG don't have priority over the wave, but they do have it over the river. Baron is still up, remember, so JDG can threaten this, but would you give over Cloud Soul for Baron? That's a risky trade.
I think that's a trade you have to be willing to make at this point in the game if you're JDG. You have to make sure that IG is unable to get the Baron, but it looks like IG is going to walk up. Xiaoxu's going to have a really nice flank for himself. Soboro taking a lot of damage. Those carries doing what they can. Redemption getting down just to heal Gala up a little bit. Remember, this Baron shred hits everybody who's hitting the Baron now. Xiaoxu has already walked in. Photic and Rookie over the wall. Rookie!
No!
Steals it away! But they're on the wrong side of the map, and this could be a problem. Soboro's in trouble. The all-out is there, but he's going out. He is down, and now IG need to find a way back home. Rookie, Scout of the Week. Xiaoxu's in his face, going golden, but it's Jwei again with a huge knock-off to save his carries. Gala in the face of Photic, and he can't stand tall. Quadra kill! Penta kill! No, it's stolen away by Rookie!
Oh, no!
But it doesn't matter. IG are going to win the game. Teleports and Baron, a huge fight and a big win for them in game one.
This guy clicks. Oh my god, Rookie! This whole game is on his damn shoulders. Gets the Baron steal, lives through the fight. Every Scout of the Week is perfect. Him alongside Jwei win the entire game by themselves.
We said we needed to see Jwei do more. He's done so much on this champion in 2025, had a couple of okay pop blossoms, and then comes up huge in those two fights alongside Rookie. I don't know how you can choose one of these guys for player of the game.
I
Can
agree.
we do a
I was just
co-player of the
thinking that. Who are you picking for co? Who is it? Everybody?
No, co-player of the game. Oh, it's Rookie and Jwei. I mean, like, you know, Photic had a really nice fight at the end there, but I mean, like, it's got to be those guys. But wow, Jay Petto, what a phenomenal game. And one thing that I've started to notice now about this Malphite champion, if the conditions aren't really perfect, you don't have that Orianna, you don't have that other team fight set up, this champion is mighty lacking. We saw that Mundo pick come in, and it was just so difficult. The positioning on IG, that's not something that we really talked about. They positioned themselves quite well to avoid JunJia's engages.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons this Malphite has been... the Mundo has been getting picked into the Malphite. It's the spell shield. It's the fact that you can't lock down the Mundo. You need more. What was the CC in that game, right? Like, okay, Renekton stun, sure, that's a bit hard. Like, you have to fully commit to break the spell shield. Malphite ult, you have to fully commit to break the spell shield. Lulu polymorph, that doesn't work. We just saw that. You have to knock him up with the ult. Again, that's not worth it. You can't really break the spell shield on Mundo this game, so none of your picks are able to happen. Maybe if you could break through the front line, any of those times it would have looked better, but I was just smiling so massively every time I saw those Scout of the Weeks. I don't want to be a game one, Andy. I'm going to be, but I don't want to be. Group Ascension's looking pretty hot.
Yeah, you know what? This if IG wins and beats JDG, that could turn everything on its head, Jay Beto. I mean, you know, IG going down 0-2 to start things off. Soboro and Rookie against, you know, AL not looking so great. Obviously, AL considered a top 2 team in this group. We said Photic and Jwei could be exposable sometimes, and this time around, they held tough. Really commendable stuff for IG to keep themselves in that game in the face of double scaling on the other side and stand tall and get the dub.
One of my favorite things about the Malphite, I know it lost, but is how telegraphed it is because you have to ban Silas. You can't first pick Malphite.
Yeah.
So I love how all right, guys, we're literally dedicating a full ban slot for one champion, and we still have to, like, get counted by Mundo. I don't know. I was talking with you a little earlier in my notes about I think that Malphite is a priority champion that we might see getting picked up. It's rising, but I don't know. Is it time to lower it? Not get rid of it. Is it time to lower it? Because you have to expend a full ban for it. And the way that IG deal with that is they ban the Orianna. So they looked at the game that JDG and the clips we saw at the beginning of JunJia and HongQ playing together. And they said, okay, we can give over the Malphite. We'll pick Mundo. And we'll just ban the Orianna. They don't have a combo anymore. And the Malphite looks a little bit useless in some of these fights. Can't lie.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, you just saw on the damage charts there, like, damage isn't the end-all be-all, but when you are not having the necessary impact on Malphite because of this Mundo pick, and you're dealing 15,000 less damage than the Mundo, that is a... I don't know, that is a very ill-advised first pick with that champion up. It almost feels like you have to ban now multiple champions if you want to make the Malphite work, and if you're so keyed in on that, it just feels really, really difficult. I mean, this highlight package is going to be a treat. This is where JDG made their first big misstep, and it felt like it was so hard for them to get control of this game again.
I'm not gonna lie, every single one of these highlights is going to be a Jwei Nico ult. Maybe the Pog is just Jwei, because the first one was Nico ult on the HongQ
there, but it was good. You know?
Yeah. Every time that JDG won a team fight, it was off of the back of a Nico ult, right? Like, or pretty much, especially towards the late game. I think IG overstepped at times. When they aren't together without Rookie and now Jwei, it looks risky.
Yeah.
But this is what like going to be one of my favorite fights of the next however many months. I'm just okay. The 5-man pop blossom is beautiful, and then just wait. HongQ goes in,
just hitting everybody.
That's disgusting.
The combined amount of CC for years at that point. And then you see Soboro getting to back. Then he's also going to get that huge shield when he teleports into this fight. I thought from this moment, I was like, damn, JDG get a big fight win here. And then Soboro over the top, coming off the top rope, causing big problems for JDG. And that's when you knew it was over. HongQ, you know, these zero ultimates haven't looked particularly good. I mean, this is this guy's signature champion, and he hasn't looked good on it yet here in the LPL.
Yeah, crazy steal. Crazy steal. But again, this fight isn't just about the steal. It's about they commit to Rookie. Get the kill here. Look at how we play this. Instantly onto Rookie. Scout of the Week is down. We go. Rookie. He Zhonya's is the stun. Then Jwei goes in, hits 4. Rookie flashes away. Like, the team fighting when Rookie is on and driving the game forward is so nice. Now, my worry is this is how I felt about Rookie and this IG team in game 1 of IG. Of their time in 2026 when they played the Ari Wukong. This is exactly how I felt. This is the emotions I felt, and I feel like we got let down a lot by the remaining games in that series. And okay, AL is a really good team. Maybe IG need a bit more time to contest that top spot, or actually not anymore, but you know, one of the top 2 spots. But I don't know. I like JDG. I'd like to see them win. I'd like to go to 3. I like long series.
This is totally fine. Totally understandable. The big Baron steal. It's a no wonder why Rookie gets this player of the game. But as you said, Jay Beto, we saw it, you know, against Weibo Gaming with IG getting that first win. The good mid-jungle synergy, we saw it a lot here. We'll see if JDG is going to be able to shut down IG. With that, we're going to go ahead and give ourselves a little bit of a breather after all the excitement we have here. Take a step back, grab some water, and when we are back, we're going to get game 2 between IG and JDG.